You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And welcome back. It's myself, Mark, aka Chibikawaii, and
I am joining him, Gabe, also known as Calimdir.
we're joining mid-game here really quick. We've got Buckwheat versus Pastom. Buckwheat is on Felon Control. Pastom is on Shimmer Pack. So we've seen both of these decks a little earlier in the day. I have to. What are your feelings on the matchup, Gabe?
So I think Felon Control is slightly favored. I think that Shimmer Pack can definitely run away with the game if they get a good early start and curve right into Shimmer Pack. So the players are already a few turns in. You can see them at 7 power. So I would venture to say that's a few turns in.
Yeah.
This is game 1. So Buckwheat already with an activated Champion of Cunning. You can see there in his Void, he's got a Wisdom. He's drawn a few cards this game, but on the other side of the board, we do have an activated Obelisk, like an 8-power Obelisk available for Pastom. So both decks like ready to win the game at any moment.
For sure. And unfortunately, Shimmer Pack not actually that good here.
Shimmer Pack, I would disagree with you.
Really? Because it makes his units 4/4s. However, okay, I guess it would end up trading because he'd have to block in order to actually not die. My thinking was
Shimmer Pack can also target the enemy's units.
Yes. Oh, 100%. My thinking was because of the Aegis on the Champion of Cunning, right? The Shimmer Packs on the opposing side are going to get pumped at the end of every turn. But the likelihood of there not just being an immediate swing to win and the enemy units being all 4/4s is very unlikely. Because, Pastoms are going to be 6/6s, and they're going to have to chump because even with 4 units getting in, that's enough for it to be lethal. So,
yeah, correct. But we don't see the Shimmer Pack come down. Pastom does not appear to have it in his hand. We don't have his hand up yet, I don't believe. And Buckwheat draws another Champion of Cunning. He's running 4 in the main deck, which I think is actually correct because it's just so powerful. He's got the perfect 5/5 influence as well, which is kind of hilarious.
Whew. And that's double Champion of Cunnings, double triggers. That was going to be hard for Pastom to get.
I think he's running some number of wasps, but I'll have to double check.
Yeah, so it looks like Pastom is running 3 in the main. Yep, 3 in the main, none in the board. All right. So riffing a little bit on what you were saying. Apparently, riffing is my term now. What do you feel about the Felon Strangers and the Felon Control?
Hate it. Okay, so a lot of people disagree with me, but I really don't like Felon Stranger. I think that Felon Stranger. Okay, so people did a lot of experimentation with Champion of Cunning and Felon Stranger, and I'm not going to go into all of it because I want to talk about the sideboards and stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, the idea is to accelerate out the Champion of Cunnings and get it more quickly, and just more consistently. And Champion of Cunning is very powerful, but you need to. He doesn't stabilize the board, right? He's a game ender, not a game saver. So I think he just fits way better into a control shell, and you'll just naturally get the influence as the game goes on.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. We can definitely jump back into that a little bit more. I didn't mean to derail completely, but let's certainly talk about the sideboard a little bit, especially since Buckwheat plays in Chinese, which is very cool on one aspect that Eternal has all of the languages already built in. We're gonna have a giant global community very, very soon. It's gonna be really fun. But interesting cards I'm seeing. Permafrost seems fine from coming in on Buckwheat's side. How do you feel about Backlash?
So on Buckwheat's side, Backlash is very good against Crystallize. Lightning Strike loses a lot of value. Eye of Winter loses a lot of value. Death Strike loses a lot of value.
Yep.
Harbinger is great. Celestial Omen and Gift are pretty good.
Yep.
Which is awkward, but Gift costs 1 less than Shimmer Pack.
Yes, it does.
Channel the Tempest also not the worst when you get into board stalls with Shimmer Pack, but you're still very afraid of Shimmer Pack coming down. Yeah, geez. I think you need some number of removal. He's running 4 Lightning Storm main board. Okay, so he doesn't need to sideboard that much because he's kind of already got his sideboard plan built into his main deck with the Witches and the Storms. But I think viable cards to bring in are Harbinger, Omen, Gift, and Channel. They're all just very big. So the question is, what are you cutting? Do you really want to be that slow versus Shimmer Pack? I'm not convinced. So I'm not sure what the cuts are. And I'm going to take a look actually in game now to see what he's choosing.
Yeah, I feel like you could trim Avara, especially like if you're going to bring in something like Omen. But yeah, there's not a ton. Maybe the feeding time, since it's not a fast spell.
Yeah, so he elected to not bring an Omen or Gift, which I think is very fair. It's very slow. He just wants Permafrost to get through the early game more consistently. And I think maybe if we take a look at the sideboard on Pastom's side, we might get a better insight to that. So yeah, Pastom has 3 Permafrost, which I think is the biggest thing.
Yep.
And Rain of Frogs. Those are the 2 cards that I'm really looking to bring in from Pastom's side, because Permafrost answers every card that that Buckwheat is going to play like on the board, gets through blockers, excluding an activated Aegis Champion of Cunning, but it still can target it, still can pop the Aegis, and if the Aegis is popped, it can permafrost it. It doesn't stop the shadow effect, but that's kind of fine with Shimmer Pack. You don't care too much. You're expecting to trade a few units in anyway and just have more units at the end of combat. So it's not that big of a deal compared to some other decks. You also have Praxis Displacer to pop Aegis, which is pretty nice.
Yep.
And then Rain of Frogs is just very good against control. I don't know if you can afford to run 4. 4 is a lot. You can't.
That seems a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really want to ever have 4 in your opening hand. I think having 4 in your sideboard is questionable. I'm not sure if there's any deck where you really want that. But Shimmer Pack is the kind of deck that can make very good use of Rain of Frogs because of how it functions. It just sort of does its own powerful thing. Shimmer Pack is almost like a combo deck. It's just a creature-based combo deck. So getting rid of your opponent's interaction is very powerful. So we're going into game 2 here.
How do you feel about this opener? Yeah, I would probably ship that back as well.
I think
not doing enough early on.
Yeah, you're not doing enough early on. You're not seeing the cards you want, like Storm and Witch. Which here he has Witch Harbinger, which is very good, and 2 Bloodcasters. Yes. However, if Pastom was drawing kind of blank, that hand would have ended the game very quickly.
Yeah, I completely agree. However, I mean, even here though, these Film Bloodcasters is going to clog up the board pretty well. They should actually be able to swing in. This Backlash is going to be able to do some work. Buckwheat just really, I think, just wants to draw power for the next several turns.
Yeah, Buckwheat is really looking to draw power here.
So what else are we? Okay, what else are we seeing from here? Yeah, so all right, so there we have the Backlash coming down from Pastom on that Wisdom of Elders, which is actually a pretty big hit to Buckwheat. Buckwheat was really hoping to draw some power off of that.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 basically.
Yeah, he ends up ripping a power off the top anyway, but still would like to be, I would imagine, two cards deeper in the deck.
Yeah, definitely. 2 depleted power actually doesn't hurt Buckwheat at all here, but the missing card is definitely hurting him.
And there's the Rain of Frogs. It's got to go after the champions, right?
Yeah, it's close. These are all cards you want to hit. I think Witch and Champion are the highest priority.
Yeah.
I think Champion being the highest because you can play around Witch a little bit.
Yeah. And realistically, I would value Harbinger a little bit over Witch, right? Because a lot of his units already have defense, but I guess like you're opening yourself up to Lightning Storm even more, but Lightning Storm clears up most of his board anyway. Like his Harbinger is an actual flyer that's going to put him much higher up in life. I don't know. I think Harbinger might deserve a little. But it looks like we are going to see a frog being played just to get another unit on the board. Okay, and we see a Sabotage come out, getting rid of the Obelisk, which is pretty big. So let's because now those units can't actually start pushing. We're gonna see a Death Strike being drawn by Buckwheat.
Yeah, so my mic was actually muted for a moment there, and I was talking to myself. I wanted to point out that the reason that Harbinger is not the greatest pick there, even though Harbinger is obviously a very powerful pick, I think Pastom probably had an Obelisk in his hand, which he did. Yeah. And you're not getting rid of all of Buckwheat's sweepers. It's just not happening. There's a bunch of Harbingers and a bunch of Storms. I think it's better to get rid of the Witch because that gets rid of the sweepers if you have an Obelisk. But the Obelisk got removed by Sabotage, so, it's all bad.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna. A little curious to see what's going on. All right, and there's an Ellen's favors. So we're hitting. Buckwheat is not that it matters because all his champions are gone, but he's one away from actually being able to activate those. Here, like I kind of like starting to swing in with your bloodcasters.
Yeah, I mean, when Shimmer Pack could potentially be coming down, it's a little scary, but
Yeah. And
But
especially when you're holding up both Annihilate and Death Strike, you don't have to worry about your Vellum Bloodcasters actually dying because you can kill any which one. Now, do we have any Lightning Strikes? There aren't any Lightning Strikes. So yeah, I would like to see. I would have liked to see Buckwheat getting a little bit more aggressive there.
I definitely want to attack with his frog, but oh, never mind. He has the Harbinger.
Yep.
But now I want to attack with everything. I was gonna say frog is really bad versus Stormlinks, but that's fine if you just make him play Stormlinks. Other than that, it's just free damage. But he has the Harbinger.
All right, so we're gonna see a Buckwheat getting in for 5 there. Pastom. All right, following up with a Lumen Defender, not terrible. However, this Annihilate's not going to let him do much. I feel like, yeah, you just go ahead and fire that off. Don't let him do anything with it. Get in for bunches of damage next turn. Yeah, you can hold up the backlash just in case something like a Crystallized or something is going to come out. Do you ultimate your Felon Bloodcaster here?
100%. I am the greediest player on the planet.
Fair enough. So you think he's playing around Scorpion Wasp here, and that's why he doesn't want to get in with his Black Sky Harbinger?
Correct. I think you're correct, and I think he showed exactly why he did it.
Fair enough. So I guess that is actually an argument for not playing the Annihilate at the end of the last turn.
Yeah, I think it was fine. Like it. Oh well, there's another argument, but he's got Witch to answer this. So, okay. So something interesting about this matchup, I think that Felon is favored just because, like I said, Elysian or Shimmer Pack is sort of a combo deck, and their answer to interaction is like Rain of Frogs and Backlash, and Backlash does not stop Felon's interaction because Felon's interaction is creature or unit-based summon effects. So it's very difficult for Shimmer Pack to take over this matchup outside of a very good draw from Shimmer Pack and a very awkward draw from Felon.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna see a frog get Destinied in, drawing another Black Sky Harbinger. I guess Buckwheat's just looking for a little bit more value out of this. Trying to figure why he's not. Yeah.
I don't think there's any need for him to play Storm or a Witch or anything like that. He isn't really afraid of like if Shimmer Pack comes down, who cares, right? If Obelisk comes down, he might even attack, and he's got a Decay now apparently.
Yep. He's got the Decay. We're going to see Backlash on that Rain of Frogs. The Rain of Frogs would have been stopped by the Aegis, I believe, anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how much I agree with that. Like, it was very efficient for power, and he probably wasn't expecting Scouting Party to be the last card. But it doesn't matter. He doesn't care about Scouting Party. He's just going to play his Harbinger right here.
And he might not even. He might just wait a turn because he'll have the 11 power needed to. Okay. So the other way he could have played this right is save the Witch and then Black Sky Harbinger on the next turn. Play both of them in the same turn. That leaves it so that his Decay is not up, but Decay is not bad because it can actually answer an offer from Pastom.
Yeah.
Obviously, he got that off of the Felon Bloodcaster when the Felon Bloodcaster's ultimate activated, which was pay 7 and draw the top card of your deck and your opponent's deck. And whenever you draw a card that is not outside of your deck, it loses its influence costs.
Yep. I think Buckwheat's reasoning for that line of play, I think any of the outline lines of play, Storm Witch or Harbinger or whatever, I think all of them win him the game there. But I think he just really valued being able to fly in the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but he hasn't been very aggressive at all. And you in a situation like this, right, you would still have a Lightning Storm to clean up here. But I guess it ultimately doesn't particularly matter. You have the Death Strike here. You're getting in 3 in the air. Yeah, no reason to play the other Black Sky Harbinger here. Well, it's a shimmer.
Yeah, I would have
pack.
played the Harbinger 100% there.
Okay, so you can respond.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, if they did they fix it? If you kill the shimmer pack, does it still?
Okay, so that was not a bug, and that was with Maiden.
Yeah,
If,
with Maiden.
if you have a Maiden out and you killed the shimmer pack, the base shimmer pack, while it's trying to transform units, all the units will be turned into cudgels and then discarded.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. It's satisfying.
It's a very, very satisfying, very cool interaction that unfortunately we will not see in this matchup because this is Feln, not Felnscar.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna see an attack in. He's gonna go down to 2, which is not 1, which is relevant. And but he's gonna be dead next turn if Pastom can't pull anything. So I guess we're looking for the permafrost. But even permafrost, he's still dead. All right, yeah. There was very little things that I actually get him out of there. But congratulations to Buckwheat. Bringing it home. Bringing it home.
Yeah, Buckwheat is a well-known top of the ladder player, and he's known for creating the Char Chain Flail Armory deck and getting to rank 1 with that. And he is a very experienced Armory player, so it's really cool to see him on Feln Control for this last Set 1 tournament. I've seen him streaming Feln Control a lot. He's been really enjoying that deck. He's tried a lot of janky stuff in it, like Dark Returns and Recurring Nightmares. So for this tournament, he's kind of played a more traditional version, but it's cool to see him branching out and doing well, playing well and doing well on Feln Control. Even if I disagreed with some of his plays, all of those lines got him there. So yes. I think he played the game well there.
I will say, Gabe, though, one man's jank is another man's treasure. So let's be careful. Let's be careful with that.
All right, buddy.
Recurring Nightmare, best card, second only to Stone Scar Excavator.
Oh man! All right. Well, at least Recurring Nightmare and Stone Scar Excavator kill things. At least you're not super hype on freaking Piercing Grief. All right, that card is absolute garbage.
Refresh me. What is Piercing Grief?
Piercing Grief is 2 mana, discard a card.
All right.
I'm sorry. It has some text on it. My bad. It's a 2-power shadow unit with a stat line 3/1. Okay, already amazing. Okay.
Yep.
Has charge. Wow, spicy.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Sacrifice it at the end of turn.
Yep.
And lifesteal.
Oh, but he's also got revenge though, right?
Yeah, sure, fine.
It's I mean, like that's I mean, all right. So I know that you're not particularly familiar with Magic, but there was a card in Magic called Hellspark Elemental that was a 3/1 with haste for a very similar.
That had like trample, right? Overwhelm.
No, it was just the 3/1. Just get in.
Okay, well, it's certainly not Ball Lightning, is what I'm trying to say.
Fair enough. I'm just, I wouldn't discard the card that much yet. I can imagine a hyper aggressive shell where that actually gets in there.
So we have a backup matchup coming in: Tiger HC versus Lv13David.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll get that up and going for you guys. So it's going to be a Chalice versus Calimdir midrange.
I think David might be on Elysian midrange, but we'll see.
Oh, excuse me. All right, so it is Elysian midrange. Okay. So let's see. So that stream's loading up. We're going to pull up the deck lists really quick here. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the score is. So Elysian midrange versus so Tiger is leading 1-0, and David is on Elysian midrange, and Tiger is on ooh, wait, what is Tiger on? Oh, I have Lv13David twice. Whoopsie.
Tiger is on the Calimdir Don.
Right. Okay, so this is a Dawn Walker mirror.
Mm-hmm. Slightly different takes on it, but ultimately same thing. However, I like the fact that David has permafrost. It's a very good answer to both the Seraphs and the Dawnwalkers that are going to be coming out of Tiger's deck.
Yeah, and on the opposite side, Tiger has silences, so it's kind of even.
If I remember correctly, he's only got 4 silences, though, right?
Yeah, I think he might be running 2 Desert Marshal, 2 Valkyrie Enforcer.
Yeah, so it's not the normal buffet of silence that you might have.
Yeah, buffet is definitely a word for it.
And speaking of that, since the players are kind of getting back in the groove of things here, how do you feel about the new flyer, the new silence flyer, and both constructed and draft?
Which card is that? You'll have to refresh me.
I believe it is a 1/4 for 4. Or maybe it's a 1/3 for 4 that silences a unit when it comes in and it has flying.
Doesn't sound great.
Whoa. Chumps a lot of things. Blocks in the
Fair.
air.
All right, so the Dawnwalker is silenced here, and Tiger is struggling on power, but he has an Awakened Student, so if he starts drawing power, okay, he has the 3rd power now.
And the Desert Marshal coming into play, being able to block the Initiative Sands while also silencing the Dawnwalker is a pretty big play because it does set David back a fair amount.
Yeah. Also, I think I rescind my statement on Tiger being stuck on power. I believe he was on the draw, and so he was just playing 3rd power on curve there.
Fair enough. All right, so we do have deck lists now. We're looking at them super fast. I'm trying to see if there's anything spicy coming out of David's list. I'm not seeing. Oh, all right. So this is like a Legion mid-range plus Shimmer pack.
Yes.
Is that what I'm saying? Okay, this is fun. I can get behind those.
I think that David might be slightly favored because this is just such a unit heavy mirror, and David has the obelisks. David has more units. He's going wider and he's going bigger.
Yeah, and the Cerso is just going to be phenomenal in this matchup. Granted, it does die to the Vanquish, but Cerso being able to just completely negate the Dawnwalkers coming down from Tiger's side seems very good. And again, we got the 4 obelisks in there. So all of David's. I think we actually agree. I think David does have the leg up.
So yeah, Tiger has the better answers, but David has the better threats, and that is I think usually threats win that war.
Yeah, because it just also seems like. David is just very, very threat dense. Just period. So what can you do? So we see a Toller's favor on the board. That we're one power. We're just one power short from David's side to be able to get those Carnosaurs going, which he really needs to hit this next turn. But even if he does, do you think he's actually going to play out the Carnosaur and do a fight, or just hold back and wait for a Wasp?
I think if he was going to do that, he would have attacked the Sandstorm Titan. I think he's playing around Stand Together or Finest Hour.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So we're just waiting for a good Wasp turn, which is right now. Going to get the Wasp in, going to block the Awakened Student, going to trade off there. And Tigers, let's see. Okay, Sandstorm coming down. Wow, power off the top would be very good. All right, Displacer. How do you feel about Displacering your Toller's favor instead?
How do you feel about passing the turn and not doing anything?
I'm fine with that too. Okay, Again, I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, but actually, I don't know, because it would have opened up your Carnosaur.
True, getting 6 power is very good, but I think pushing the damage there was pretty good. As much as I made a snarky comment, there was some merit to getting your 6 power there.
Yeah, because now.
Yeah,
because he would have been able to play the power Carnosaur, get rid of the Sandstorm Titan, and then swing in for a lot. Also, did not realize you were being snarky until just now, so thanks.
Yeah,
appreciate
it. Some confirmation. Hellspark Elemental does have trample. Just that I let you know.
Oh, it does have trample? All right. Well, then that's look at me. Look at me.
Does not have revenge or lifesteal, but you know.
No, but it does have what was it? Unearth? No, it wasn't. What was it had the mechanic where it was in the yard, you could pay another red and a mountain. Or another red and a colorless in order to get it back into play. And smack it again, and then it exiled. So you got to hit twice. I was basically comparing that with a revenge mechanic.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot you could play it from your Gabriel. But anyways, back to Eternal. So I think Tiger is still going to continue playing around. I don't think he minds not being able to play Carnosaur because he's very concerned about this Finest Hour potentially Stand Together. I think he has Stand Together on the board, right?
Yes, yeah. There's 1 stand together in the board and 3 finest hours in the main deck.
Oh, and 2 stand together in the main deck. Yeah, so that's a
Yes.
lot of combat tricks.
Yeah, which definitely reasonable.
I don't think they all come in.
I agree, but there's also like at a certain point, like you just got to make them have it, right?
Yeah.
This though definitely does feel like a combat trick.
You bet. And he's blocking
Got
around
something
it for sure.
Yeah. So that stand together. By blocking this way, he's still only going to be able to get 1 unit off the. Oh, never mind. And does that put him? All right. So the Sandstorm Titan still dies, but both units on David's side are out of there. Oh
Did he
man,
play a minor on top of the stand together?
he did play a finest hour on top of the stand together. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I tabbed out for a moment. Okay, well that definitely puts Tiger in a very good position. Seraph gives him a lot more. Oh, and Tiger HD cheating, playing some set 2 cards.
We are seeing some set 2 coming out here. I believe that whenever you gain a life, your units all get +1/+1.
That is correct, and
okay.
It's actually Kacha's a very interesting, cool card that I'm excited about for set 2. If you attack with 2 lifesteal units, that's 2 triggers, not 1.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And it's actually very, very good in this position because this is like an obelisk mirror. And I mean, he has no ways to gain life other than maybe, I don't think he's playing Temple Scribe or anything. But if he had ways to gain life, it'd be very good.
He's got decay in the board.
And I think it probably comes in versus obelisk. So that's fair.
Oh, I hope we get to see some shenanigans. That would be a lot of fun.
I mean, I think he still wishes he had rolled Ikaria or something. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But I mean, like, you're not going to complain about a 6/6 too terribly much. And Tiger being tapped out is going to be great. The Wisp is going to activate. 2 cards are going to be drawn. Carnosaur is going to be able to take care of that Seraph. And not going to be a huge. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't.
I think he might be concerned about the flyer. I'm not sure.
But he can chump the flyer, and he's also got the crystallize.
He might also just be thinking about his next few turns. Okay, yeah. So he's concerned about crystallize. I definitely would go for Seraph just because of the potential whatever you could roll. So something I also wanted to touch on, crystallize versus stand together is a very interesting interaction in this matchup. Like, do you play crystallize into stand together? You just make them have it every time. Stand together is like way better mana wise, and you end up ahead in that trade if you just trade cards. But stand together can be clunky on your mana. You don't just cast it. Like it's a really interesting. It adds a lot of depth to this matchup.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Yeah, I like. It feels weird giving Tiger the ability to activate Seraph again.
Yeah, I mean, I think he thinks he can beat a Seraph activation because. So Seraph activate. Oh, okay, never mind. We're both dumb. So here's his plan. He activates Seraph. His only Aegis unit is exhausted. He casts Crystallize and wins the game. So unless he rolls an endurance unit. Yeah, so we're big dummies, and it turns out the person who's playing his own deck knows how to play his deck.
Yeah,
big surprise.
Playing on. Would you say we're playing on level maybe 2 or 3, and they might be on level 13? Is that a safe assumption?
Anyways, moving on. So he has crystallized lethal here, and that's going to be, I think, 1-1, right, between the players.
All right, so we're going to go to a game 3 though. Then, so that's pretty exciting. I don't know. This matchup's been pretty fun. I'm pretty excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I wonder if we will get to see that. That is probably the cleanest collection list I have ever seen.
That is definitely not what my collection list looks like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But yeah, maybe this game will actually be able to see that crystallize versus stand together interaction. Crystallize is just a 2 of no matter what for David there. There weren't any additional crystallizes.
I think that's fair. They can get pretty clunky. 3 is the most I've ever really seen anybody run.
Sure. Yeah, But like for matchups like this, like you kind of want that third one though, right?
I agree, but I think maybe we don't know what happened in the first round. I think Tiger has shown that his deck can get pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
That board stalls might not happen that much with the silences and whatever.
Sure.
I think David is expecting to be on the back foot a little bit in some of these games.
Makes sense. Definitely makes some sense. Do you think we're gonna see? Wisp come down on turn?
Turn 2. That's an interesting.
I was gonna say,
I'm gonna do it. I can do it for mana efficiency.
I don't know if I liked it on turn 2 here, right? Because now he's opened up to Desert Marshal as well as Valkyrie Enforcer. Whereas if he plays it on turn 3, that means that Tiger can't play any of his 4-drops, and he has to pretty much answer it right away. So he'd have to play a Valkyrie Enforcer, or he'd have to play a Desert Marshal on his turn 4, basically negating his turn 4. Whereas now he gets to go Sandstorm Titan. So it looks like they had basically the same line, but yeah.
They're playing a mirror, and they're not afraid to show it.
So we're gonna get 2 more cards here for David. What's David? Oh, Permafrost has the potential to be pretty good here. Obviously on the board right now, a little lackluster, but neither Titan can attack either.
Yeah, I would like to point out that Tiger's cards are all premium, and David's cards are not.
The Reality Wardens on Tiger's side, not premium.
That is an error. That is probably the best premium in that deck.
I would agree. Reality Warden, if you haven't seen it, the premium, excellent. But
top tier.
Yeah, but so I just not to stir up anything really, but
any premium controversy.
Yeah, I'm just saying Tiger's missing a few.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of his premiums come from his Killers deck, which shares.
I would agree. So all right, so we are going to see the Wasp come down, block the Sandstorm Titan. So there was a pause there. That's very, very important information for David, right? So that means that there's either, granted, there's 5, so it leaves it a little bit open. It could be Protect, doubt it. Could be the Stand Together, or could be a Finest Hour. What do you think the odds of it being Protect are?
I think he values Stand Together a lot more in this matchup, but he may have taken out Protect entirely because you can't run that many Aegis effects. Also, I'm realizing now just how good Reality Warden is in this mirror because it stops Dawnwalker.
Yep.
But the Wasp is right there for it.
Yeah, the Reality Warden is just excellent. I think Reality Warden is horribly hard played. I mean, it's a 7/7 for 5 that has very relevant text across a lot of different matchups.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Angry Chicken, who has kind of shown that in his tournament showings.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we're at a little bit of a board stall right now, though.
Yeah, I think we might have made a slight misevaluation in the matchup because I was thinking Shimmer Pack could be slightly more aggressive just because of the unit density, but you're trading False Prince for Awakened Student. I think Awakened Student is actually the better aggressive card. And wow, he almost
I'm actually
there.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to.
He didn't double block. I think he just sort of missed it. I think he meant to do it and just didn't think about it until after.
That makes sense. Yeah, especially just because we did see we had seen the pause there, so we knew some sort of instant speed type effect. And I guess, or maybe he was banking on it being Protect, and it was kept or actually brought in, I guess, for the Crystallize and the Shimmer Pack. I don't know. Yeah.
I think David knew that it was a Stand Together. He saw the pause earlier. I think he just forgot for a moment, clicked the block button, and then just said to himself, "Oh shoot!" And then the stand came down, and it was too late.
Yeah. So Tiger not playing any obelisks, so we're not going to see that. Oh wow. The powers, pretty much everything is excellent for Tiger here.
Yeah, Tiger. So David, I felt, had like the sort of more consistent, stronger late game with the scouting parties and things like that. But Tiger has Seraph and Awakened Student, which can transition into the late game very easily. So I think while Tiger doesn't have like the more consistent late game, I think he transitions better into it from a winning position. I think David's almost about had it with this game.
Yeah,
It's looking really rough for him. He needs to draw like, oh god, he needs to draw like a permafrost. He needs to draw 2 cards a turn, basically.
Yeah, which I don't see his staff, so I can't imagine that's actually going to
That's actually a very good draw.
Yes.
But I think he's still dead on board. He kills the Awakened Student and then dies to Dawnwalker, Desert Marshal. So an unfortunate like sort of misplay there kind of cost him a turn, but it was still going to be very rough for him anyway. It was going to still be an uphill battle.
For sure. You know what would have brought David back into that game? Assuming that it had been played earlier in the game.
What card?
Infinite Hourglass.
That is very true. Does he have that in his sideboard?
No. Oh, actually, he does. He does have an Infinite Hourglass. I was just saying it to be a little trolly.
I think that's more for crystallized mirrors and permafrost, though.
I like that card, but yeah, not. I don't think he's playing enough stuff with Killer. Oh wait, no, excuse me. Yeah. So David had the Infinite Hourglass. Oh, and the Carnosaurs are in the board too. Yep. Yeah. So if you have more units with Killer, because he's not playing Predator's Instinct. If you're playing Predator's Instinct, Dawnwalker, and Predatory Connoisseur, I'm a much bigger fan of Infinite Hourglass personally.
Yeah. So I think I stand by my statement that I think the Shimmer deck might be slightly favored in the matchup overall. But Stand Together is very powerful, and especially against Shimmer Pack. And I think Reality Warden, Awakened Student, Seraph is just an insanely good combo versus what David is trying to do. Because once David starts having to block, he is in a very bad position. Also, I think did Tiger bring in Obelisk? Does he have Obelisk? No, he didn't.
No, Tiger doesn't have Obelisk
anywhere. He just got there. So, all right. So now I'd like to point out the game where David had Obelisk, he won. The game where David did not have Obelisk, he lost. So I think that definitely had a big effect on that. I think there was more to it than that, but I think that was a big part of why I evaluated the Elysian deck as the
I don't
favored deck.
I don't think the Obelisk actually added much into that game. From what I'm remembering, like it allowed him to have lethal on the board, but even if he didn't have it, it was still going to wipe Tiger's board. So I don't know. That felt actually a little bit win-more-y to me.
Yeah, but in both games, the Obelisk actually wouldn't have made much of a difference. But in the matchup, potentially, it has a lot of value just because it's like, okay, I play a Sandstorm Titan. Okay, I play a Sandstorm Titan. Okay, well, my Sandstorm Titan has an Obelisk, so I can attack into you. And that makes a huge difference in those board stall, those mid-range, unit-heavy decks, because whoever gets to attack and make the opponent lose units, like like 1-for-1 or trade down and chump, you're getting a huge advantage because you really want to hold your units on the board because you get value from Stand Together and things like that, keeping units on the board. But
makes sense.
Tiger got the Reality Wardens down. He had the Seraphs to transition to the late game, and he had the Awakened Students. And Silence also just very good.
Yeah,
right?
very, very, very good in the matchup.
So he ended up taking it. 2 good players. One moves on to a what is his current record? David is. I have to update. Hold on.
Yeah.
So David is 3-2, and Tiger is 4-1. So David is not out of contention for top 8. But we have Tony G at 5-0.
Yeah.
With Felon Control.
So he is definitely making it into the top.
And he did take out I Read Minds on Big Combre. Yeah, which I feel like as a contentious point, but I feel like Felon Control is favored in the time against time-based decks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it looks like we're going to be taking a short break here. But before we do, I want to make sure that we, give a shout out to our lovely sponsors. aReNGeeEternal.com. They're the ones that actually put on this entire tournament series. Be sure to check them out for a list of daily articles. Very, very informative reads if you're trying to stay up on the competitive, or if you just want to see some like fun things that are kind of going on in the Eternal community. Definitely worth reading the articles there. If you're trying to up your competitive game a little bit, Gabe probably should. You can look at their ranked and tiered list and their stock list as well as great starting plays. And then you can, again, as we mentioned earlier, any of the questions you guys might have about the tournament series, you're going to be able to find the answers there. So definitely check out aReNGeeternal.com. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all with your time used there.
Yeah, and right now the guys over at aReNGee Internal are working really hard to get out a bunch of articles for Set 2. Set 2 just came out, so perhaps the ranked tier list and the stock list might not be as valuable of a resource, but it's still good to check out what good Set 1 decks there were. But they're going to have a ton of content coming out in the next few days and today for Set 2, and you'll be able to get all your cool Set 2 articles out there and get all your evaluations of cards and etc. So go check it out. It's they're the people putting on this stream and everything, and they're also just really great. If you're in the Discord, they're always there, and you can talk to people related to aReNGee and stuff like that. So yeah,
for sure. All right, well, cool. With that, we're going to end this round. It sounds like our next round is ready to go, so it should be a very short break, and we'll see everybody soon.